listen to this. It's cool, but now listen to this. If you feel second one sounded fuller or more in your face, it is due to something that I call XBus technique. So the original idea comes from Andrew Scheps. It's called rear bus technique, but I added my own flavor so it's more in line with the dance music genres. The idea is super simple. You have your drums and then you have everything else. What you do, you create a bus, send everything else to that bus, you compress it, maybe saturate it, and then blend with original signal. The vocals, the guitars, or whatever loud elements that you have will derive the compression here, which will make those loud elements like vocals to pop a bit more while gluing everything else together. This whole technique is very useful with some alterations to create really in-your-face and loud tracks. And let me show you how. So I have a track here. We have the regular parts like this. We go into the bass pedal. Builds into this. And drops into this. It's a classic in-your-face main room techno track. This is good, this sounds good, but can we make it a bit more in your face? Just like that 10%, 15%, right? And here comes the XBus technique. I'm not calling it rear bus because if I do that, people will come and comment, no, this is not rear bus technique. It's not the same rear bus technique. That's what I'm calling it, just XBus technique, because it was just the first name that I come up with, okay? XBus. What we do? First, I actually like to use just a return channel for this because who has time for creating bus, and return channels works much easier for me. We create a return channel. What I like to do, create first a saturation. In this case, I'm gonna use black bus on the left side. You can use any saturation that you like. I like this one. I think this sounds great. Decide which instruments that you are going to send. Because we are making this techno or house style of music, first we don't want drums because they will drive the compression, and I don't want the bass at all. The bass goes its own bus, the low end bus, and we process there, and bass can also get loud and it can actually drive the compression quite hard as well. So we remove the bass, we remove the drums, nothing goes there. And I don't send effects either. The idea is just keeping only the harmonic elements, getting out everything else to just like make it simpler for me. Take my XBus, put it into 0, send everything that I think important. Horns, send there. Vocals, very important, send there. And I often try to keep the original balance, like everything will be like 0, 0, send all the way there. This raised bass is not the low end bass, so it's like a harmonic bass like this. Send there. I'm avoiding the drums as you can see. And there's an ARP, send it there. And lead, super important, send it there. If you miss 1, 2, doesn't matter. You can just always send it back. So we now have something like this. Beautiful. The first thing that I do is actually saturate the sound, so a bit more in your face, but I don't over exaggerate it, so it doesn't need to be super saturated like crushed parallel compression. Just a bit more without overdoing it. This is good. And then comes the compression part. Use any compression that you like. Glue everything a bit together, and when the loud elements come, create this like breathing feel. You will understand very soon. Let's go with this one. I'm gonna use relatively slow attack. This is quite fast compression anyway. Slightly harder compression. I think in the original they used 4:1 ratio. I'm gonna go a bit harder in this one. Again, we are doing electronic dance music, techno and house. We like really that in your face sound. You see vocal comes in like, and when the lead comes in as well, to really push it at the 7. Then I actually like to do one more saturation here, and I'm gonna use like ozone exciter. You can put it before and after because it's a very subtle saturation. I'm gonna just focus on those high ends. Gonna use the retro here. This will just open up those highs a bit more. That this air just puts up on top. And for me, there's one more crucial thing, adding into compression, but it's side chaining to the kick, so that we will have this slight pumping feeling on the side. This is also very deviates from the original rear bus technique, techno pumping feel in this one. And we can do even like a look ahead, so that even more space for it. This is really good start. Before we go with the blending and mixing in, there's one thing that's really important, is that when you are using this technique, if you have a lot of elements, it can really get your mix very muddy. The other important thing is, because we are not adding any drums and bass, it may actually make your drums a bit quieter in the mix. In occasional cases, you can actually take something like a sidechain compression just to like duck in those drum transients. But for me, I don't like to overcomplicate things. If I feel like it doesn't work, then I just remove rather than really try to make it work, because this technique, if it works, you will hear it immediately. Let's try with the quieter place so that you can hear a bit better. Obviously, when you blend this in, you will get louder, and there's not easy way to go around this one. You can try to do really advanced gain staging, but it's really hard. So be aware that we are making also things a bit louder. You will also get tricked because of that. So the difference is really that in the mid frequencies and really also a bit on the high frequencies, especially on the sides, gives this extra brightness or energy. Again, let me play. Vocal just becomes a bit more in your face. The effects gets even more drastic when you have the leads coming in, because they're also pulling the compression and bringing things in the front. Let's listen here, for example. Again, the difference is not like day and night, but it's a technique that will give that in-your-face feeling to your track, extra 10-20%. Super cool. What you can do actually, I try to not mess with the phase of the XBus. That's why I'm avoiding effects that will add phase issues like drastic EQ cuts and so on and so forth, but a subtle EQ boost and cuts are completely fine. I often find myself adding something like a Pultec EQ and maybe boosting a bit here and there if the track needs something, especially if you feel even more mid energy, want to have this extra loudness. Any EQ will work. You really don't need Pultec for this one. So you can take something like this and maybe boost here, right? Just boost that mix. Right? By the way, we are almost coming end of the Black Friday. If you want to take a look at my courses and packs, there's up to 40% discount. Check the links below. If you want to learn more about cool tricks and techniques in music production, I have more videos over here. Take a look.